Going to do a review here of the Onewind. It was supposed to be from the gentleman when I got it. A Onewind hammock underquilt in dark blue. Um, I find it not to be that. I contacted Onewind and I found that, with their products, you do find this um, multiple uses. You have an underquilt, you put it underneath the hammock, and you have an overquilt, you can put over it. And this would be the camping blanket. So still, it's really a nice product. It works as part of a sleep system. And this is actually better than an underquilt, which I was going to order, because an underquilt is not a square product. So this has more versatility. Of course, has the DuPont Sorona bio-based sustain fiber fill, which is nice to have. Nice to know you're doing something good with the environment here. It comes in this nice ripstop bag. It's got that hexagonal pattern that you might be aware of. Holds together a lot better than some of the other ripstop nylons. A lot of them will rip straight down. This won't. Kind of a little bit of a compression sack. Has a little stopper here. Simple, effective, it works. But we're going to get to the actual underquilt, or should I say blanket. It's not huge. It's big enough for a person to cover up with. I'd say it's about 6 foot by the width of a man. It's very puffy. It's very much dark on one side, lighter blue on the other. It has Onewind on it. Has their logo. New high tech. It's very much like a modern version of the military poncho liner booby, without the place for your head to go through. So it's not like their overquilt that they have that you have, where you can turn it into a poncho liner. It's not like the Helicon Tex Swagman roll. But I'll tell you, one of the features I like about it is that it has this nice button down system. So only on the outside here, not on the bottom. There's no toe box. You have 3 buttons here and 3 buttons here. And these buttons correspond with one another. So I can take this button and I can button it to that side, or I can button it to this side. So if I want to, I can wrap this around myself, start at the bottom, these 3 buttons, make it into a nice blanket that I can wear should I need one to wear around me as a wrap. Or I can attach it to a smaller hammock. This won't work on my bigger hammock. And snap it underneath me and make it into a light underquilt. Great for summer weather. And the buttons will hold. Multiple uses for this thing. The biggest thing is it's a lot like the quilted military wooby poncho liner. Biggest difference being that the quilting goes up and down, gives it a better lofting, I think. And what I'm doing right now, I'm letting it sit. I'm letting the air hit it, and it's going to start decompressing with that fiber, and it'll puff up. That's what you want. You don't want this laying flat. It's not really meant to be something you lay on flat. Could you use it for that? Yes, because you're going to have what I ran into this weekend out camping is that all the best blankets around me even had foam underneath me for matting and Sea to Summit inflatable mattress, but I still didn't have that factor of the keeping out the cold. So I did get cold, even though it was warm on the top. The cold was just leaching out underneath me, and I got something like this. That if I had this, I would be probably a lot better off. You're still going to have anywhere it's compressed, be it in a hammock or on the ground. You're having skin to ground contact. It won't be as bad as if you were laying without it, but anywhere you're going to compress the fabric, you're going to be losing some of its potential to keep you warm. All in all said, this is a really nice product. I haven't really tested it out a lot yet, but I know from other fabrics like this It's like a sleeping bag material. It's that nylon the old school sleeping bags had. The stitching is nice and tight. I like that. Let's look on the outside. Yes, it's almost like military grade stitching, which is pretty nice. A lot nicer than some of the products that you would find. What do I like about it? And what do I not like about it? Well, what I like about it is it's a blanket. It works. You can throw it in your car. You can have it as a blanket if you break down. You can have it for a blanket if you want to use it as an underquilt. You can have it as a blanket, part of your sleeping equipment if you're camping. What I don't like about it is the bag is huge. And it folds up to about the size of that right there. You see my two shoes sitting there. So it's about, let's say 1 foot by half that in size. So it's not something that's going to be ultralight. Not as good as down, some of those down blankets they have, like Sea to Summit has and other ones. But for 40 bucks, it's not bad. Works. Benefits having it with your kids. If you're a bigger man, you might have some problems with this because it's not that big, but it's big enough to take the space that you would have for what they call the modern day quilt, which is different than sleeping bag. The modern day quilt is a lot of ways representative of the military poncho liner, number one, and number two, the tartan that the Scottish Highlanders would have when they went into battle, where they were traveling in the Highlands. They always carried a piece of wool with them about this size. And then they would also carry, eventually it became a kilt. So, good sleeping system, nice and soft. I would recommend it, but there are better products on the market. Given the choice, I would probably go with the Swagman roll than this, but the Swagman roll costs about 3 times as much as this.